All right, welcome back to QuickBooks Online. Here we're going to be looking at banking and reconciliations. So in this chapter, it's very, very crucial that you do complete every single task all the way up to this point, especially for the first 5 chapters, of course, just because everything that you have done between the first 5 chapters is going to be connected to this chapter right here for chapter 6. Now, because the way that I've organized this class and how we go through step by step, yes, we've actually gone through past and beyond chapter 6. We did chapter 9 and we did chapter 10 and we did chapter 13 and 14, right? So I've actually modified the banking statement that is actually in the Google Classroom that includes everything that we have and need to have complete so we're able to do the bank reconciliation, okay? But before that, we dive into that, right? That's why it's very crucial that you do keep up and do not try not to fall behind. But again, if you haven't done anything, that is okay. You definitely have time to do that another time. And with the bank reconciliation, you can just do what you can do best is check off what you do see and what you don't see, okay? So in regards to that, then we'll go ahead and continue on. It's not a problem, but it would just be much more easier to facilitate if we have everything match up line in line, okay? Now, in this chapter, what we're going to learn is that you are not obligated to have to keep track of your own book or your own bank, okay? We can have the ability to import our own bank statements. Now, again, I would highly not recommend that. Reason being is because as a business person who's trying to run their own business, your number one criteria is to always know if you have enough money in your bank, because ultimately the money in your bank is ultimately what's going to keep your business running, right? If you don't have any money in your bank and you're trying to buy a bunch of things, it's not going to work. So that is the very first thing that you should always do is keep a really close track record of your bank. Especially when you're making purchases left and right, you're selling your items, you don't want to leave the money in the cash register, right? You definitely want to safely deposit into your bank account so you can continue running your operations as normal. So that is the key thing that we have to know here is, even though if you don't keep a really good track record with your bank or any other accounts that are in your chart of accounts, your first thing that you should do is always keep a good track record of your bank. Now, of course, we have to also take into consideration that banks, right, if we allow our company to receive credit card payments from our customers, right? That's not something that we have on hand at all times, right? We would have to set up our bank account to let us know whether a customer has paid or not. Other things could be like if we set up auto pay, like if we're using online payments, right? We can set up to make sure that we have maybe maybe a simple internet bill being auto paid. If you have that kind of situation set up automatically, that's going to come directly from your bank account without letting you notice. Because if you're not keeping a good track record of your bank statement, or having the ability to and you don't have the ability to have access to your bank account at all times, then those transactions that are automatically taken out of your bank account can hurt your business in many ways, because you're not keeping a good track record of your own finances, especially when it becomes to your bank account. Because again, the true point here is you always should know where your money is at all times. So again, because we're living in such a advanced technological world, everything is accessible in the palm of your hands. Even better, with QuickBooks, you can streamline everything and connect your bank account directly to your QuickBooks, and you'll have everything in literally the click of a button. However, there are some, you know, what do you call it? There are some things that you may need to know, or maybe a few things that you should be aware of, is anything you put online, you definitely want to be very careful on who has access to that. And also, you definitely want to make sure that you're on a secure network, because you definitely do not want your bank account, your Intuit account, your customers' credit cards. You do not want any of those data to be breached, okay? You do not want your company to be hacked into. Even though Intuit swears that they have the most protected and secure online cloud-based service, once again, you also have to do your duties to be safe, and making sure that if you choose to make that decision to streamline everything all in one place, have one account access millions of different accounts that involve with your bank account, you definitely want to be very careful of making that decision, because once again, like, can we trust these corporations to secure our, confidential, sensitive data? All right, like, for example, we've already heard many issues where Apple actually was one of those companies that pride on having the securest iCloud services, but they end up getting hacked anyway. So that's why it is very important that even though, yes, everything can be done in the click of one button, you definitely want to be sure that that is a decision that you want to do to facilitate and make things a lot more easier, okay? So now that I've talked about that, let's talk about what are the different bank transactions that we can actually be able to do right here in the QuickBooks. For this case, we will not be actually linking a real bank account, especially for Imagine Photography. Imagine Photography is already a fake business itself, and the banking that they're using is called National Bank, which actually does not exist. So in this case, we will not be able to be linking our real bank account on there, just because, one, it's sensible data, but two, also because, for this case, if you choose to do so, you could go ahead and read the book to follow along on how to set up your bank account. How do you link it to there? Because setting up your bank account in QuickBooks only makes it easier, so then when you get bank notifications, you would automatically get that bell notification directly to your Intuit account. So it's really cool. Okay? So here, first thing we got to do here is we can transfer funds between accounts. So again, just like if you were wanting to, if you wanted to put some money into your savings, you are able to do that here as well. Now, of course, when we're talking about QuickBooks, if you are not linking your bank account, obviously you're gonna have to go to the bank first, have that transaction complete, and then come home and then go back into your QuickBooks to update that you made a transfer, okay? So that's the key thing about QuickBooks is everything that you're doing here is you're basically recording what you have already done, okay? But if you have the ability to link your bank account in here, you could do it directly using your bank account instead of logging onto your bank account online and doing that transfer online. You could do it directly into QuickBooks. But in this case, that's exactly what we're looking here is once you've done that transfer between your bank accounts, you're able to record that as well, okay? So let's take a look at the PowerPoint here. What we're going to do here is transfer funds. So starting from here, we're going to go ahead and click that new plus icon like we normally do and click transfer. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and transfer $200 from our checking account, and we're going to put that in our money market, okay? So a money market is very similar to a stock. Okay, it's like another savings account that you can put into the stock for this one. It's called a money market. Okay, there are different versions of it. It's not called a stock or anything like that. There's different versions of a money market, but that is what it is. It is a place for you to save your money, but what you're doing is you're kind of putting it into, you're investing it into some kind of market here. Okay, so in this case, we're gonna go ahead and transfer $200 from our checking account into that money market. So once again, plus new icon is going to be something that isn't involving your customer, vendor, or employee. It is definitely going to be something that's considered other, okay? So right here, transfer. All right. So here gives you the exact information on what you want to do. So we're going to transfer from our checking account to our money market. So this one you had to add in, this is one of the accounts you had to add in from chapter 2, okay? You can always quick add it. So again, you could type it in and then click on add account and set it up as you go. But in this case, that was something we've already established in chapter 2, okay? So now this one, it will let you know how much money you have in each account. So right now, I have $36,000 in my bank account, and right now in my money market, I currently have 0. So how much do I want to transfer in? So here, that's where the next one is transfer amount. We're gonna say we wanna do $200. And when is the date that you want to transfer it? So in this case, let me take a look in the PowerPoint. Okay, we are going to make this transfer. Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, right here on January 29. Okay. So, January 29. Okay. Anything here? This is not, you don't need a tag for this. Any attachment. So again, when you have already done this, whether you go physically to the bank, you will get a transfer slip, right? You could attach that there, or if you're doing it online, you can screenshot your online transaction and be able to attach it here. So in this case, once everything looks good, I can go ahead and click save and close. Oop, not save and new, save and close. So then, there you go. I've already done it. So now what I can do is, how do I know that money went through? I can go to my chart of accounts and confirm that now I have money in my money market. So right here, money market, money market. Okay, money market, I now have $200 when it originally said it had 0. So that is the fee, it is easy to transfer from one account to another, okay? Any questions there? So let's go ahead and talk about importing bank transactions. So as I've mentioned earlier, if you aren't keeping a really close track record of your bank account itself, here's an easy way that you're able to update your checking account at all given times. You have the ability to upload and import bank information into your QuickBooks, okay? Now, if you link up your checking account to your QuickBooks, it will update automatically for you, okay? All you have to do is review the transaction and confirm if this is a duplicate, if this matches, and so on and so forth, right? And we'll walk you through that process. Now, that is only if you choose to link your bank account. That means you don't even need to keep a good track record of your own bank because it's constantly doing it for you automatically, okay? Now, of course, like I've mentioned earlier, we don't have a bank account to set up. So we are going to choose the option number 2, where you're going to get a copy of your bank statement and then upload it into your QuickBooks, okay? So again, if you choose to link your bank account in there, go ahead and follow the instructions in your book. It will walk you through on how to do that. You're going to go through the website and link your bank account by putting in your credentials and so on and so forth. And that way, when you go into your banking tab on the left column, on the left navigation bar, you will have immediate access to whatever account that you are. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bank account. It could be your credit card account. It could be your loan account. Any account that has some kind of money transference in it, you can go ahead and connect your bank account in there. So that means you can even pay directly to your loan. And with that, again, you're able to even do online banking transactions directly into QuickBooks. So if you need to pay a bill off, you could do it directly into the QuickBooks itself. So again, it makes everything 10 times more easier and convenient. But again, you definitely want to be careful on how many accounts you're linking in there. If you have 2 loans in there, 5 credit cards, and then 1 bank account and 1 savings account, you are at higher risk, because that is way too much sensible data. But we also remember back in chapter 1 or chapter 12, when we set up our company file, you also have the ability to link in any way that you receive money, whether it's through Cash App, Venmo. Those are also going to be considered bank accounts that you can also link into your QuickBooks. So again, it's literally allowing you to have flexibility, and everything is convenient, and you could do everything in one spot. You don't need to log into your other account, log into your mobile app. You don't need to do that, right? Everything is streamlined onto one, okay? But we're going to go ahead and start importing our data. So it has to be a very specific file in order for you to import the data, okay? So if you're able to go ahead and log into your banking profile or your website, or whether it's online or mobile, right? You are able to download a copy of your bank statement. It has to be a CSV file. It cannot be anything other, okay? So what is a CSV file? It is a derivative, or it is used by Excel, but it is a different format of it, and that one is going to allow you to be able to import your bank statement. Now in this case, so like I said, I updated the one on the Google Classroom with the most up-to-date information of everything that we've done from the past class to now, right? And I've also uploaded in the format that you need it, as a CSV file, okay? So that's very important. If you choose not to connect your bank account, you can import all this information, because once again, if you're only keeping track of the payments that your customers pay in store, and you're only keeping track of your checks that you write and your credit card charges that you've made, but you're not actually looking at anything that you've done online or receive payments from your customers via credit card, that is probably what you need to do, is be able to import those information into your QuickBooks. So once again, how do we do it? We've already looked at many examples of importing data into your QuickBooks files, right? You can either choose the plus new icon, or not the plus new icon, the gear icon and import data, or you can actually go to the banking on the left navigation bar to be able to access your bank account that way, or in this case, your banking transaction. So you can go to banking, and you should be able to upload all of your banking. There you go. and you could go ahead and import your data right here. So in this case, I could either connect my account or upload transactions, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and upload my transactions. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and import that bank statement that I have readily available on your QuickBooks. So in this case, let me go ahead and look for it. So it's going to be in QuickBooks class, lecture, imagine photography here. So right here, it should already say right here, imagine banking import. It will only recognize a CSV file. It will not recognize anything else, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and proceed next to continue. So you are not limited to just your banking app. It could be anything that you want to do as well. So if you have a copy of your Venmo account, you can also import that as well because it links to your bank. And so on and so forth. So in this case, it says right here, which accounts are these transactions from? So that's why you can import more than a different account. It doesn't have to be necessarily your bank account. It could be your credit card account. And this is where you're designating which account are these transactions from. And we are going to say this is from my checking. Okay? Right here, I can go ahead and click checking 1025. And I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay? So then now it's going to ask me some more questions here. Okay? It's going to ask me, well, okay, is this first row in your file a header? And of course, yes. So if you actually viewed the CSV file ahead of time, you would already see that it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's just formatted as a different format. But when you open up and view it, you should have a header at the top. You got the date in one of the columns. You got the transaction for what it was, and you have the amount. So in this case, that is it. That is what we're going to do here. Yes, the first row is the header. And, okay, how many columns show, okay, amounts, right? We only have one column for the amounts, okay? And it says, what is the date format used? I think it was it month, date, year? I think it's like that. Okay. So you can double confirm what you want on here. So yes, you want it, yeah, month, date, year for the date, one column for that. And of course, you want to select import all 21 transactions. Okay. So in this case, let's see. Okay, column 1, column 2 is description, column 3, yes, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So then here's the list of all the transactions that you have here, right, that are listed in that file. So we do have 21. Now in your book it says 19 or so and so how many different transactions you have there. Again, I've modified this, so then this should be the most up-to-date, correct, up to today, right? Including all the transactions that we've done at the end of the month. But again, we're only focusing on January, okay? Only January's transactions, okay? Nothing else. So anything that's beyond January, so like the most recent ones that we did recently had to deal with February's dates, right? Those will not show up. So we want to ensure that we are going to transport all 21. So make sure you click that check mark to select all of them, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and click continue, okay? So then it says right here, QuickBooks will import 21 transactions, okay? And of course, fields that you choose, do you want to import now? Yes. So there you go, all 21 are in there, okay? So then now you'll get this code saying import has been completed, and you're gonna go ahead and click done. So this is called the review process if you choose to import data into your QuickBooks. So this is where if you link your actual bank account to QuickBooks, this is the review process, so you don't actually end up entering a transaction twice. So in this case, you still have to go through the review process even if you link your bank account in here. Okay, so this is, again, a preventative measure so that you don't accidentally double up on an entry. So when you go here, what you're gonna notice is a lot of these things, if you've done this correctly, a lot of these things should be highlighted for you saying, we found a match, okay? Now, if you do see a match, but it's coded to the wrong account, you need to make that adjustment first before putting them in. So that's why this is called the review process, okay? So here you have 21 transactions that you have to review. And so far you have not categorized any of them. You have not excluded any of them. So we're gonna have to go through one at a time to go through every transaction and say, yes, this has happened, or no, this has not happened, okay? So let's see what the PowerPoint says, because I do walk you through what to approve and what not to approve, okay? So in this case, we're gonna start categorizing our transactions. So the first one here is the first 11 transactions that you have recognized from the chapters, right? From what we've been doing from chapters 1 through 14, right? These are the ones that we for surely know has happened, right? For example, the Gandhi video for that $665, we know that went through. We know that the Barton insurance for that $1,210, and of course the Boswell Consulting for $980, Veronica Vasquez for that $203. Deposit for that $1,809. So remember when we made our deposits in chapter 3, right? So we want to verify that all 11 of these are going to be categorized, okay? So let's go ahead and verify what we can find here. Okay, so here it should let you know whether something is a match or not. So again, if you did everything correctly in your books, a lot of these things should be flagged already as you've already entered this in. Here's the match for it, so go ahead and categorize it. So in this case, let's see, the first one we have here is Gandhi Video LLC for that $665. Right here, it flagged you that, yes, you did have a bill payment, right? And it matched it for you, so that's the very first thing, and I'm gonna click match. So when I click match, what happens is now where did that item go? And notice up here it says that now you only have 20 transactions here. You categorized it. So if I click categorized, Gandhi should be there because you acknowledge that this transaction did go through and it did match your books, and that's what you did. You categorized it. Okay, so that's what you're going to do here is you're going through the review process to ensure which transactions went through. So again, you don't enter a transaction twice. Okay, so again, that's my first one there. So that means I have 20 more transactions to go through. So we already got rid of Gandhi. Let's see what the next one is. We got the Barton Insurance, right? We already said that that was correct. So I go ahead and click match. Okay, next one we have here is a transfer amount for that $200, right? That's the one we're going to need to verify, so not yet. Veronica, right? We said we received $203. That was correct. Okay, so that's 3 so far. We did make a deposit for that $1,809, right? So that's okay. So we matched that one. And then, so let's say, okay, we'll talk about what happens when you need to enter that transaction in. So in this case, right, we'll just make sure we're going through everything right now to just verify that these transactions have gone through. So I've only gone through 4 transactions so far. So let's see, did we have one for the Weathers Auto? Did we have one for Neo Garcia? Did we have, oh, we have 2 for Neo Garcia. Okay, so let's see, did that happen? Let's see. We did have one for Weathers Auto. We did have one for Nail Garcia for $40. Okay. We did get the refund for Nail for that $16. Okay. We paid Dan Con, and we have a Mario Mabilla. Okay. And we have a Katie for they already cashed out their checks. So in this case, we got to verify that goes through. So let's get Weathers. Yes, we have Weathers, right? We bought our truck, okay? Let's see the Nail Garcia refund for Nail Garcia for that $16. Yes, it's confirmed, okay? And then, of course, we deposited the money from Nail Garcia for that $40. Yes, confirmed, okay? Right here, Katie Ropa. Yes, she did cash out her check. And let's see, Dan Con. Yes, we paid for the rent. And right here, we have another journal entry here for $50. I do not know what that is. An owner's contribution, right? Or for $50,000. Let's see. I don't think that one's going to be there for yet. Let's see who else. We said Mario Mabilla should have cashed out his check. Let's see. Okay, I don't see his name yet. There you go. Wait, nope. Nope, I don't see his transaction, so maybe that could be an error on our end or an error on their end. So if you don't see it, that's okay. But I do see that I have a few other matching things. So I'm down to 12 more transactions, okay? So we'll figure out Mario in a few, okay? So then here's the categorizing process. If you find something that you have there that you need to edit the information before you can transfer it over. So in this case, we need to modify and edit different transactions, okay? So we can successfully categorize them. So here, the transfer to the 7890 to 7809, which was that transfer to the money market. In this case, our QuickBooks already recognized that we had this transfer done, but you want to ensure that it is that when you're transferring or when you are categorizing this transaction, that every criteria meets. So in this case, here's the transfer. This is the 7809. If I click on it, right, it should be able to allow me to edit the information on here. So for example, here, right, I've already done that. It says that it hasn't been categorized yet, but what are the things that need to be matching? Well, the date matches, right? The banking detail, right? We're transferring to our money market. And that's pretty much it. And this one doesn't have that much detail. So in this case, since it's already matching, I'm just going to go ahead and process that right through, saying yes, that is correct. We're matching it because it was a transfer, right? And then let's see what's next. So then the next one says the owner's investment for $50,000. If it's matching your books exist, then go ahead and select match. If it does not match, you need to make sure that the current vendor is going to be the Ernest Withers. It's going to owner's investment, and it's going to be overhead class. So that's just something that we need to ensure that when we do categorize our transactions, we're not transferring them in randomly, right? We need to categorize them, put them in their respective accounts, making sure that they're going to the correct accounts, because oftentimes when you do not go through every single one and you just click transfer, or categorize, you might be categorizing the wrong accounts into the wrong ones, and then that's going to make you have more difficulties having to fix that problem, okay? So let's go ahead, and here's the owner's contribution. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So here, right, it says it is matched, but we want to, it's a journal entry, okay? So we want to make sure that it is matching all of those. So in this case, it says match found. In this case, everything looks good in terms of this. So we can go ahead and click match. Okay. So there you go. Those were the other ones. Now these are what's left over. So we still have to manage 10 more accounts. Okay. All right, so this one, we gotta have to go through each one and every individual one. So first, we're gonna go ahead and do the Facebook transactions, okay? So in this case, Facebook, right, we decided to put our credit card in there to take automatic subscriptions out of our checking account. So in this case, right, we need to identify that we had a few Facebook charges, right? We had one for $15.67. We're gonna add this Facebook as a vendor, and we're going to categorize it as advertising and marketing expense for the store, okay? So in this case, we used Facebook to market our company. So we're going to locate where that Facebook transaction is. Okay, here's Facebook advertising for $5, so that's not it. Facebook right here, the second one right here, Facebook right here. For, it says right here, contractor. That's not the account we want to put it in. So that is exactly why you want to make sure when you click on this transaction, you are correctly categorizing them. So in this case, vendor's name, we're going to go ahead and quick add Facebook here. Okay. So we add Facebook. Okay. Okay, it's not letting me add Facebook. Okay, there you go, Facebook. Okay, it's a vendor. Okay, save. There you go, Facebook. We are not categorizing it as a contractor expense. We're going to put this as, advertising and marketing. So you type in your category here, advertising and marketing. Here you go. And if you have this specific one website, you can go ahead and link it there. In this case, I would assume it would be website, but if you just want to do just advertising and marketing, general, that's fine. Okay, is this linked to a customer? In this case, no, it's not. All right, location. We're gonna say for both stores, I guess. Okay, and in this case, store for class. Any tags, we said it was for weddings, so we use Facebook to market our weddings. Okay, once everything looks good, then I can go ahead and click add, or I can go ahead and click categorize and watch this. So now that I got rid of that one, right, I updated all of the information, it automatically categorized it for me. So now I'm down to 9 more transactions. So if I go to my categories, once again, I should be able to locate that Facebook transaction. Okay, there you go, Facebook, categorize for the correct account for the advertising and marketing. So you're gonna have to go through the rest of them, all right? So again, how do I have to go through each and every single one of the transactions that I have yet to categorize. So in this case, what QuickBooks has done for you is they tried to look at the vendor and look at what kind of expense it is and try to guesstimate what that expense is going to be for. But again, it doesn't get it correct all the time. So you do need to make sure that you are transferring the information into the correct account because you don't want to have to go back and fix that. That's even more of a hassle than if you did it correct the first time. Okay, so in this case, let's see what the next one is going to be. So the next one we have here is going to be another Facebook charge for that $16.72. Again, tags as wedding. We're going to add a rule, okay, to turn off automatic adding, okay? Now, what is a rule? Okay, a rule allows you to set parameters so then when you have a similar transaction go through, you're basically coding it so then the next time Facebook pops up on your bank statement, you're setting up the rules and parameters to say, hey, this is a familiar transaction. This is the transaction that you're going to automatically code it to this. And with that, you saw the option where it says to automatically add. So in this case, right, you will just want to make sure that it categorizes it in the correct spot. So in this case, where I'm going to go here is Facebook for that did I do the wrong one? Let's see, Facebook. You got Facebook advertising for $5. So in this case, I think I might have transferred the wrong one. But in this case here, Facebook, let's just do this one, okay? So if I click on this Facebook, right, down below here is where you can add a rule, okay? Let's see, rule. Okay, categorizing history, exclude, create rule, okay? So that means every time you put in something into, you put your bank statement into QuickBooks, you want to make sure that if it sees the name Facebook, it should automatically associate it as an advertising and marketing expense. But in this case, what it told you here is you want to also make sure that it doesn't automatically just pass through, right? You want to verify and confirm that that transaction had occurred, okay? So in this case, let's see what the question asks here. What do you want to call this rule? We could just say advertising Facebook or whatever it is. Let's see what the PowerPoint says. We're going to add a rule, okay? We're going to call this Facebook, or in this case, we're going to add the rule to turn off. Okay, so in this case, we can choose whatever title we want to use. So in this case, I'm going to call this Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising, okay? And then, of course, is it a money in or a money out? This is usually since they're taking out money for us for using their platform to market ourselves. It's definitely going to be a money out, okay? Now, here's what you want to make sure down below says here. Down here says, do you want this to be automatically added? I want that to be turned off. Okay, so in this case, when you do recognize it, how do you want it to be? I want it to be as an expense, and then it's not going to be under, it's going to be under advertising and marketing. Okay, it's going to be recognized as Facebook. Any tags, we said weddings. Okay, and then we said class is going to be for the store. And then location is going to be overhead. It's going to be for both of the stores. Okay, and then Facebook advertising will be the description. So once you set this rule up, save. Okay, that means the next time QuickBooks sees Facebook, it's going to automatically code it to all of those things. So right here, Facebook, right here, you already set a rule, and therefore it says there it is, right? And if you click on it, it should already save all the information that you saved, right? You said you wanted to code it to advertising, you want it coded to overhead, you wanted to code it to store, you want it to have a tag for weddings. So in this case, it automatically updated this one transaction here, and all we have to do is just click add, okay? So there's that one right there, and we're gonna go ahead and identify that last one right here, Facebook. So in this case, this one did not put it here because the name of it says Facebook advertising. We're gonna change that to Facebook right here. And then we're going to call this Facebook, and we're going to make it to market Facebook advertising refund. Okay. Okay, so in this case, let's go ahead and code it to the advertising and marketing. Okay, because it didn't recognize Facebook because it said Facebook advertising. That's why it's not doing everything correctly. So in this case, class is store, tags is weddings, and then what you want to do here is you need to put a memo in here. Okay, memo. Facebook advertising refund. Once everything looks good, right, location is overhead. We're going to go ahead and add this. Okay. So there you go. Now, how do I edit those rules? If you go at the very up at the top right here, you have the rules section here. Okay, so therefore I can create a rule at any given point in time. Excuse me. Let's do that again. So there you go, rules. Now here should tell you that you have a rule. Hold on. So if I go to categorized, I should be able to see that the Facebook has a rule. Okay, right here, Facebook has a rule. Okay, and I can click on it and I can edit the rule at any given moment in time. Okay, and you should also be able to add the rule. I think there's a glitch on my end. When I clicked on rules, it disappeared at that one point. So in this case, you're supposed to be able to access that rule list. It looks just like this, but you can actually edit all the rules if you want to. So yeah, so mine completely disappeared from my my web page, but you're supposed to be able to access that rules list and be able to enter in brand new rules if you need to. Okay, so let me see if I can access it here. Rules. There you go. So when I clicked on rules, you can add rules as you go. So then the next time when you are doing your, categorizing your transactions, it should automatically identify your transactions and be able to help you facilitate that. So you can go ahead and add rules that way. Okay? So here, I still have 7 more transactions to categorize. Okay? So let's go ahead and do the next one here, where we're going to go ahead and we're going to add Adobe. Okay? All right. So here's let's see, monthly modify and edit transactions for the Satterley wedding photo job, right? For the Adobe. So we need to go ahead and do the Adobe. We're going to add Adobe as an online expense for software. Okay. And again, it's going to be for the Greg and David and Andrew David. So here we go. So let's go ahead and do that one. So let's locate Adobe. Okay. Here's Adobe. Okay. For the $9.99. So we actually had, so we're going to go ahead and add in Adobe as a vendor. Okay. Add here. Okay. There you go. You added Adobe. We said this was an online we want to code it to office expense software. Office expense. Let me type in software. Oh, I just had it and now software. software. There you go, software and apps here. So that will give you the whole entire thing right here, office expense, software. So there you go. The customer is Greg and Andrew David. Okay, so there you go. Oh, Greg, there you go. Right. Location. I believe this was the San Jose location. Okay, for weddings. So no location is stated here, but it was for the store. We're not going to make it billable, and it's for weddings. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and leave my location blank, but I am certain it was for the San Jose location, but this is for the store. And again, right here it says, do you want to bill Satterly Wedding Planners? Okay, so yes, if you want Satterly Wedding Planners to pay for the subscription for you to go ahead and do the retouching services, then go ahead and bill them. But in this case, right, as a photo company place, right, you should be able to pay for those subscriptions yourself as a company, and whatever services that a customer wants cannot be paid by the customer, right? It shouldn't be paid, right? You're offering the service for a higher price, okay? And of course, here you go, tags is weddings, okay? And it's going to be Adobe software, so I can go ahead and add that. So, yes. So in this case, you do need to complete and clear out all of these transactions because this is going to be crucial for the next part, which is going to be doing the bank reconciliation, okay? So in this case, let's keep going. Now that we got the Satterly Adobe wedding done, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and set up some more banking rules. So we're going to go ahead and add MailChimp, okay, as an expense, MailChimp expenses, right, which is going to be apply transaction as money out, okay, to all bank accounts. Text is going to be MailChimp, and the transaction type will be expense, okay, for advertising and marketing. So we're going to go ahead and set up a rule here. So like we did earlier, right, you could either go to rules and set that rule up ahead of time, or you could create the rule right then and there in the actual banking itself. Now in this case, I clicked on rules tab here. So it says right here that we have one already made for Facebook, right? In this case, I want to go ahead and create a new rule, all right? So I click on the top right in green, new rule. And I'm going to go ahead and say, what do I want to call this? I'm going to call this MailChimp expenses. Okay. All right. It's money out. We want it to be for all accounts. Okay. For all banks. Okay. And here we're going to go down to the description here. So what is the transaction type? It's an expense. Category, we said advertising and marketing. There you go. Payee is MailChimp. Okay. We're going to have to add MailChimp, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click Save, okay? Customer, no customer necessary. Tags, is there any tags for MailChimp? I don't believe so. Overhead, and we want to select yes for the automation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Oh, there's something. something's not right, you need to set at least one condition. So in this case, money out to all bank accounts. That's what we said it was. Okay. Okay, description. Oh, okay, let's see. Do we have to add a description? Let's see. Let me see. All transactions, money out to all bank accounts. Oh, right here. We need to put the bank text as MailChimp. Okay. Must contain the word MailChimp. Okay. So that's our condition. So then that allows QuickBooks to be able to be like, aha, this is the transaction that we're looking for. So now that I've done that, let's go ahead and go back to my banking transactions. So if you remember, I had 7, now I'm down to 5. Okay? Because if I look at my categories, right, since I said I want it to be automatically transferred over, if I go ahead and take a look at my already categorized transactions, I would be able to locate MailChimp. Okay? See, right here, MailChimp, already in here. And I should have 2 MailChimp transactions. Okay? So there, that's why I went from 7 to 5. Okay? So in this case, that's what it means when you want it to automatically go through. That means next time you put in your bank statement, it's going to automatically categorize it right then and there. Okay? So then now I only have 5 more transactions left to go. Okay? So here, let me click uncategorized, or in this case, review. So let me see. I have interest, service charges. Or here's Mario Mabilla. Okay, right here says owner's draw. That's not true. This isn't an owner's draw. Okay, we want to make sure that that's not the correct. Oops. So then click Mario. Oh, no, Mario Mabilla. Okay. He's going to be coded to a salaries and wages expense. There you go. Ooh, nope. Oops, sent the wrong one, that's why. No customer here, but we want to change the category. It's not an owner's withdrawal. This is a salaries and wages expense. Salaries and wages expense. Okay, payroll expense, salary and wages expense. In this case, we said was overhead because he worked for both of the stores and he's getting paid through admin. Okay, so there you go. Now that we finally found Mabilla, let's go ahead and add him in there. Okay, so then now I'm down to 4 transactions. Almost done, guys. Okay, so we still got, oh, here's Stephen Boswell. All right. It says right here, payroll expense. No, he's the professional fees guy. So this here, we need to go ahead and make sure he's legal fees. Okay, there you go. Or accountant, no, that's fine. Legal fees is fine. We said this was for both of the store locations, and this was definitely overhead. It applied to everything, okay? And I can go and click add. So we're down to our last 3 transactions here. So we got interest, and a service charge. So let's see what we have to do here, okay? So here you go. We got interest link, right? We're going to go ahead and put that as a money out. So I'm going to set up another rule here for the interest link, okay? And we're going to go ahead and split 1 and 2. We're going to Okay, we're going to do 50%. Okay, and we're going to categorize it. So let me see, add a split percentage. Okay, for the interest, for interest link. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that rule for interest link here. Let me see, interest link. So I can either click on interest link and be able to create the rule right here instead of going up to create the rule. So in this case, what do you want to call this? We'll call this interest link expense. Okay. We're going to have it money out to all bank accounts. Okay. So the description is interest link. Okay. Now in this case here, we want to set up an actual thing here. So in this case, I'm going to call this, we want to code this to interest expense, I believe. Let me see, interest link, or type is going to be expense. We're going to add a split. Okay, so one of the categories is going to be for utilities and internet and TV expense. And then we're going to have the other one set to interest cost. Okay, so we're going to split one for each of the stores. Okay, so here, right here says add a split. So that means when I'm going to categorize this, I'm going to categorize it in two ways. So I'm splitting this cost in two ways, right? Because we're collecting interest for both of the stores, right? So in this case, I want to go ahead and split that. Percentage is going to be 50%. Percentage, 50%. Okay? And we're going to select the category, right? We said this was internet and TV expense, was it? So when we type in TV, utilities, here you go. And we're going to split this class on the store. Okay. All right, and then the split detail for number 2 is going to be the other 50%, right? Same thing, internet and TV, or sorry, I put interest. Utilities for the TV and internet. Okay, and once again, you're going to code it to store. So in this case, right, you just have to make sure that one of them is coded to the Walnut Creek and one of them is coded to the San Jose. Okay, and of course, let's see, payee is going to be interest link. Okay. Okay. We have to add them in here. So we'll go ahead and click save. Let's see. Customer, no. Location, since we can't designate a location for this. Interest link. And last but not least, do I want it automatically put in there? Let's see. Yes, we want it automatically put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click add. So then that should bring you down to 2 more transactions left. All right, almost there, guys. Okay, so then let's go ahead and finish up the last 2 transactions here. So right here, you're going to have one for interest earned. We're going to create a rule for that one. And then I think we have to do the last one for the service charges. So in this here, so right now we got to do interest. Okay, interest earned is what we're going to call this. It's going to be money in for all bank accounts. It's going to be coded to interest. This is income. Again, for interest earned from National Bank. It's an overhead, and yes, I want this automatically to be put in. So once again, I can just click on interest here, and I can go ahead and set the rule right here. Okay? And this is going to be called interest earned. Money in for all bank accounts. Going to be looking for the word interest. Okay. Transfer type transaction type we said income. Okay. I guess we're going to use as deposit. There's no income there. This is interest earned. There you go, interest earned. All right, payee, National Bank. Okay. We're gonna, nope. Let's see, can I, yeah, okay. There you go, National Bank, I already have them in here. Tags, nothing. Classes, we said it was overhead. Okay, and then it says, yes, I want it automatically in there. Okay. Last one is going to be the service charge. Okay, so again, I'm going to create a rule for this one. Last rule is going to be for the interest, for creating the rule for the service charge. Once again, we're going to code that to bank fees. It's money out to all bank accounts, and it's going to be coded for service charge. Transaction type is an expense, and it's going to be for general business expenses, bank fees to National Bank, overhead, and yes, we want it automatically put in there. So once again, we're going to call this service charges. Service charges, okay? It's money out through all banks, and it's going to be coded to service charges. Okay. Expense for bank fees. Oops, spelled bank wrong. B-A-N-K. So here you got bank fees and service charges right there. Payee is National Bank. Okay. Category. Customer. Sorry, wrong one. Tags, none. Classes, overhead. Okay. Location, overhead, because this can apply to both of them. And last but not least, yes, I want it automatically put in there. Okay. So that does take a lot of effort. So instead of like you having to manually put in your transactions one at a time, right? You are able to wait till the very end to be able to do so. Okay? All right? All right, so any questions in regards to that and creating rules and so on and so forth? Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to stop here for a break. Okay.